protect each other's mental space. If you ever need me, just call. I'ma come running, give it my all. Love is love, God wins. Keep your vibrations high and watch how your blessings.
Share it. Grand Rising, Namaste, Ashe, salutation, shalom, peace. We are here. I'm trying to debate on like what direction to go with this, right? I wanted to go like back into like the essence, the original tribe of the Bible, so on and so forth. I wanted to go back into, Sumerian and, Enoch, Enki, Enlil, all of that stuff. I wanted to go into Greek mythology, try to get an understanding from that perspective. It was like a lot of different directions one could go through. Like, even if you went through like the Mayans calendar and all of that stuff, like it's still going to lead you to that point, that 13th lunar cycle. What happens at the end of, the Pisces sky, when we move into the Aquarius sky? Everybody was curious of this, awakening that would take place in the Aquarius sky. I mean, even the Georgia Guidestones prepared them for this said awakening that would take place, So when you're looking at like consciousness, the very essence of something that was breathed inside of us, then you're like, okay, what is this consciousness that we speak of? I didn't realize that everybody didn't have a conscious. I thought we all had consciousness down here. I thought, everybody had a conscious. I didn't realize that people was down here just going through the motions. I didn't realize that. I thought everybody had a conscious. I thought everybody had, inner dialect. I thought everybody was, I thought that, and you run across like people who don't have it and you're like, what the hell? You don't have a conscious? You don't talk to yourself with inside yourself at all times? Like, you're not asking yourself questions. Not everybody has it. Not everybody has this stuff. I didn't know that. I didn't know, I thought, I assumed we all had conscious and, and we were all aware of, what we were doing as far as our behavior. Like, so when I was sitting there questioning people, like, what made this person do this? Or why did they do that? Or, really, like, it wasn't no point of questioning it for the simple fact that, like, that person might not have had an inner dialogue. I didn't know people didn't have inner dialogues. You got, in order for you to have an inner dialogue, like, you have to question, like, is something that you're about to do good or bad? Like, is this good that I'm doing or bad that I'm doing? Like, some people don't have that. Some people don't have that notion within inside themselves that says, like, what you're doing is bad or what you're doing is good. Some people just justify some shit in their head and that's what they're going with. They're like, well, that's it. That's it. That's the way the cookie crumbles right there. So it's kind of like it became easier for them to play on us. It became easier because those people, they lack empathy. They lacked all the things that we need in order to have, this sense for one another. Right. And once you take away certain things, you take away the connection that we have with one another. So it's like, in a sense, like now I can see why the Georgia Guidestones stated like to reduce the population by so much in this time, right? Now I can see why they said, at the end of the Mayans calendar, so on and so forth, when these signs are shown in the sky, so on and so forth, you will have to reduce the population because now I see like everybody down here is their vessels are, I want to use the word program, but maybe designed. That might be a better word for it. Everybody's body is designed a certain way. From the time that seeds was planted during the procreation of you, it was, DNA seeds that was planted that was supposed to, throughout a timeline or a certain level of experience of life, these DNA fire codes was supposed to awaken inside of us. And we were supposed to embark on a higher servitude of not self, but others. We were supposed to have a notion for this higher servitude of others, to others. Do unto others as you would want done upon yourself. That was the practice time. We were supposed to be practicing that in the time of Pisces, right? It was a time of belief. We had to believe in that time. Now we're in the time of Aquarius and we have to know. And a lot of people ain't picking up a book to know nothing. They taking the face value, some other person's word for it, or something somebody said, But we got 26,000 years that we about to be in the Aquarius sky. 26,000 years. That means the rest of this timeline is going to be based off of the Aquarius sky and what that is and intel. You better start learning about it. It ain't just you running around talking about, I know. That's not what it is. Nah, you're going to have to really know some shit and have discernment. Because, like, if you look at, like, the age, going back to the ages of humanity, right? If you look at, like, all the things that took place, like Virgo, Mercury, the timelines that it took place, this was like the golden age, right? And then if you look all the way down to the Aquarius waters, Uranus, this is 24, this is now, like, this is new age humanity. This is happening now. New age humanity is happening now. If you look at the timeline, let me see if I can show this on YouTube. I'll show it on the YouTube page. You'll be able to see it. On the TikTok page, y'all gotta, support the other pages. Click the link tree, go to the YouTube. Lock in with us. Lock in with us all the way. We are monetized over on YouTube, so hopefully we'll get some traction pushed over there. And, of course, you can become a subscriber or a super fan over on TikTok as well. There is ways that you can, support over there. As they say, a little support is better than no support at all. I'd rather be monetized with a small page than not monetized at all, and we monetize. So we got to take that for something. All right. So we're coming out this Pisces time. If you see Pisces, fish, Neptune, 2012, right? So we're coming out of this 2012 Pisces era, right? It's telling you 2025 to 2020, third wave ascension cycle. You see that 3-eye atlas that came close. You see the government, putting out alien files and so on and so forth. You might not be paying attention to it. All right. So these are the times that we are coming out of right here. So when you get into the Aquarius water, so on and so forth, this is Uranus. Uranus is the ruling planet of this, right? Re-educate of humanity values and global cosmic citizenship, technology advancement, ending disease and war, rehabilitation, eviction of vandals. Well, that has to do with like those who corrupted or manipulated different variations of things. But we are watching this take place right now. We might not like what's being revealed to us. We might not like what's happening. We might not like the truth that has to be shown. A lot of us might want to just think we live in a good world. You might want to just think you live in a good world. You live in this, and that's, very vague, but some of us would like to ignore that these things exist in the world, that the world is this corrupt or this wrong or this bad, or, and then you don't want to sit down and say, well, how did we get to this point? How did it become like this? So on and so forth. What's the history of this? What is the origin of this level of dislike that's in the world? This level of, hatred that's in the world? What is the origin of it? You don't want to do that. A lot of people just push out more hate. You see it. You see it. But there was an original group of the Bibles. They were called the Essenes. They had like John the Baptist was a part of the Essenes, so on and so forth. James, Jesus' brother, was a part of the Essenes. Mary Magdalene was a part of the Essenes. They had a lot of people that was a part of the Essenes. When I looked into it, I was like, damn, I didn't know that. So when you start looking into this, you'll start getting into, because they didn't start writing down the history until like 5th century, I want to say 5th, something around that time. So like the first through the 4th century, like Plato's and stuff wrote about that stuff, like Atlantis. Plato's wrote about Atlantis. Plato, later passing this Socrates, passing it to Plato, passing it to Aristotle. All of these different people, they challenged the world because they kept on questioning everything. They would question the question, right? But we have these fire letters that are in our DNA, and these fire letters, like, were supposed to, I guess, awaken at certain said times. Not sure how that really works with the fire letters. Still studying and looking up into that.
Each DNA strand corresponds to a fire letter or fire code built upon electromagnetic impulses of sound arranged in pattern sequences. Each fire letter corresponds to a dimensional frequency band of consciousness in the universal tree of life, or the 12-tree grid. Collectively, all the fire letter code sequences correspond to the 12 DNA strand matrix, which is the original genetic construction code of the human species. Fire letters are the cellular alphabet of our DNA, and they become activated and organized by our neurological receivers when we start to absorb the frequencies from the first octave of our next dimensional ascension. The body usually follows the consistent process of initiating into the next higher frequency layers, in order of each harmonic tone, to help the physical self and body more easily acclimate the frequencies into the light body. Too much exposure to high electromagnetic frequency too soon can seriously damage the neurological system and brain, resulting in psychosis. Each individual has a specific energy signature, incarnation path, that determines the detail of awakening. Indigos and starseeds are the first waves of people spiritually awakened to be initiated into Kundalini activation during the ascension cycle. Every person has a unique path of ascension, yet the same internal connection of an electromagnetic process of bio-spiritual transformation occurs. Consciousness. Expansion occurs through the progressive states of initiation that are made through successive and increasing electromagnetic frequencies of Kundalini activation, which are transmitted to the entire bioneurology.
Now, that's why this is so hard to explain, is because you're trying to explain the awakening process and trying to, verbalize it to people of how this takes place. When you're trying to explain the Kundalini to people, a lot of people tell you, oh, I know about the Kundalini, so on and so forth, through my Muslim experience or whatever the case may be. They'll tell you this stuff, but they never really tell you about the Kundalini. They never really tell you. You ever have somebody tell you that they know something, but they never really get around to telling you how they know? It always leads to like a book or something they want you to read or so on and so forth. Well, you get tired of hearing that at some point. You get tired of hearing people say that. So then you start looking up stuff yourself. Like, let me look into this myself, right? And then you get into the chakra systems and so on and so forth, your life tree, your, then certain fragments of things might start trickling into your mind, right? Whether it be Greek mythology, Roman mythology, it doesn't matter. It can go to, the Christian crusade. It can go past that. It can, the journey for knowledge is inside of oneself. So when you start looking for that truth, it starts with you. It don't start where I started at. No, your truth don't start where I start. Your truth starts with you. A lot of people can reach this understanding from different perspectives. They can reach this from, maybe their perspective of, the Muslim book, right? Or the Jewish book or the Christian, right? I have come to understand this from a multitude of different books, but it all leads to the same thing, right? Even if you start practicing it on the physical plane, if you start practicing this on the physical plane, then you're going to try to help people out more. You're going to try to meet people where they're at. You're going to try to, help people with what they have, not, tell them they got to get more, get more, money, 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 so on and so forth, right? Remember, before this currency that we had, there was a barter system that was in place. But we can't get back to that until we get back to the it takes a village mindset, so on and so forth. And we can't get back to the it takes a village mindset in a world where people are just out for themselves right now, right? So this is where your mind comes in. You have to strengthen your own mind for this. And a lot of people do not have the strength in their mind because their survival, their means to survival outweighs the strength, of having integrity, so on and so forth, right? A lot of people go through things in the working world where they have to put up with certain variations of, management, right? And they have to do it because that's who signs their check, right? So the person with the money is the person who is in control. They're the person who's making it seem like they're this and that. And you got to put up with it no matter what type of douchebag it is, no what type of, it don't matter, right? You have to put up with it, right? So like, this is where, you have to strengthen your mind over certain variations of things when it comes to, the flesh, right? The flesh is weak. We know that. The body, the pain body, whatever you want to call it, right? But when you're developing this comes with, understanding the power of the brain, right? Realizing that your mind is in control of your vessel and not the other way around. See, right now, they got you thinking that your body is in control. So we give into all of these different things of the flesh: lust, greed, gluttony, envy, jealousy, anger, so on and so forth, right? But once you realize your mind is in control of all of those things, then you start practicing different variations of emotional intelligence, start giving your emotions to the right people, stop giving your emotions to those who don't value them, so on and so forth. So you kind of like cut yourself off from the world because the world is full of feelings and emotions. Like even the normal conversation is filled with feelings and emotions, is, lies, within the conversation, because you can walk up to someone and say, how you doing today? That person will be like, I'm doing great, how are you? Or I'm doing fine, how are you? Knowing that they're not, but for the sake of conversation, they keep it in the pattern, right? No one's really telling you how they feel or or what's really going on, because one, they're going to think you don't care. Two, they're going to look at it and be like, it's my problem to deal with, not yours, so on and so forth. All these different variations of things that block us from actually getting to know each other, right? So image is what we're raised in. We're raised in the image, that whether it be the image of our family, friends, whatever the case may be, that's what we're going to be raised in. We're going to be raised in that image, you know? So more people are going to be more inclined to just go along with the Joneses, go along with the BS. And right now, because there's a victimizing society going on, right? This is happening right now in the families, in the homes, in the houses.
The good news about this shift is understanding the necessity of how the inner spark comes online in the fetal cells located on the tailbone. There is a seed that ignites a spark of light to run up the spinal column. It starts weaving with the next layer of the subharmonic in the scale closest to its energetic resonance,
Comes
in
in
order to connect
where
with the
the
body through the
punishment
spine.
comes in.
A part of this is happening now, which has a positive result. It is the reweaving of the Kundalini spark into the triad layers, which allow these subharmonics to start merging or bonding with each other as trinity waves.
Egypt wasn't a place on the map. Egypt was the body. You had the lower half of Egypt and the upper half of Egypt. It was the body. So the Nile River was actually the spinal cord and the river that runs up the spinal cord, right? This is where all of that mystery comes in at. Mystery Babylon, mystery this, right? Egypt was the body. Later on, the Sumerians might have changed it, or however it was, the Sumerians changed it and made it a tomb. The tomb was the body, right? The lower gods lived in the lower half of the body. The higher gods lived in the higher half of the body. Two different realms, however you want to look at it, right? So you have this, and Egypt shows us the same thing. The map of Egypt, the real map of Egypt shows us the body, and Jerusalem being in the higher part, which is the brain, and Bethlehem being house of bread, which is your bread basket, which is the center, and then Nazareth being, the lower half of Egypt, however you want to look at it. And this goes with the chakra systems. So you have the root chakra, which would be like Nazareth, and then you would have the crown chakra, which would be like Jerusalem, right? So anyone born in the higher half of that chakra system would be in a righteous place, or uh the Mississippi River is a depiction of it. If you look at Mystery Babylon, you will see more maps that are depicted like North America than anything. If you look that up, you will see that. Yeah, America is Mystery Babylon. If you look at like the maps, if you look at San Francisco and what was over there, the Bay Area, it was considered to be the Red Sea. Then they changed it because that California gold rush, they needed a place to put all the dirt, so they filled up that. It's a lot of different stories, with the changing of the earth, that correlates with a lot of stuff. Um, like I said, I looked into a lot of different books, old maps of old, so on and so forth. What's going on? You're in the box. You didn't know you was in the box. Um, but I like to dig into this knowledge. Like I always like to, dig into this knowledge, so on and so forth, because I think it's interesting of how much people miss. And maybe it's because they were looking for a certain thing. Maybe they was looking for a disconnect. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I think a lot of times, like we look at the division and we look at the separation and we look at and we're missing we're missing that part of this that is drawing the connections to everything. Like everything that I looked into had a connection, whether it was Greek mythology, Roman mythology, Sumerian texts, the Emerald tablets. It didn't matter what I was looking into, it was all going back to the same thing. Like when I started looking into Plato's Atlantis, Lumerian, when I started looking into all of this stuff, it all kept on going back to the same thing, right? Then once I got into the laws of the universe, which is the laws of the mind, right? I realized that we were broken down into three different things, right? You had the laws of the universe, which refers to the mind, and then you had the laws of the sea, which refers to the waters inside your vessel, and then you had the laws of the land, which is like the outside. And Greek mythology breaks it down like that too. If you look at Zeus ruling the sky, then Zeus rules the mind. And if you look at Poseidon ruling the sea, then he rules the sea within inside of you. And if you look at what's the other brother name that Hades ruling the underworld, then that would be man's land, because that's where the unaliving process takes place. That doesn't take place nowhere else but in the land of man, right? Everywhere else has a understanding of not unaliving. This is why, like, all the heroes would never what the heroes would never unalive the villain. They would lock them up for however long, but they would never unalive them. That's man's domain. Man is the creator of the unaliving process. It doesn't even exist in other dimensions, because they know that what is always was and always will be, right? They know that in the other dimensions that there's no unaliving process. So they don't unalive things because they know energy never dies. They know this without a shadow of a doubt. In the other dimensions, they know that this is a false process. This process of unaliving, martyrdom system, this is a fear that is placed only in the third dimension. It can only take place in this physical plane. And then when you think about it, the first unaliving takes place when we come down here into the physical plane. The Bible says you will not have a second unaliving. The book of Revelation speaks about a second unaliving, meaning the physical unaliving would be the second unaliving, right? So a lot of people get this confused, but fear is what is placed upon us with the notion of this. Think about it. If you knew that energy just transfers and knew that energy doesn't die, that takes away the whole funeral process down here. That takes away that whole process, because now I know my people is not gone. Now I know they're just with me forever, living, around me with different variations of memories that is placed upon me of that character, right? So this will change everything. The process of what we're doing down here will change. Someone is benefiting off of our grief in more ways than one, when you think about it, because you be so caught up in the grieving process, you not thinking what's happening to your people's blood when they take your people's blood up out the body and then put embalming fluid in it. You not burying your people's, because they done took all the blood up out of it. What they doing with that? That's stopping a process from taking place. It's like mummifying somebody. right? You're keeping them trapped here on the astral plane. The blood doesn't go back to the earth from which it came. The essence of it can't go back to which it came because you're keeping it trapped. So once they realize this process of, keeping us trapped in this reincarnation, process, now we keep on reincarnating like that. This is why they'll never just let your peoples just go off and bury you. You know what I mean? This is why they got to have a recollection of you, through your social security number, through all of these things. It is the operation of the Holy See. You are, a product of this world. So therefore, that's why your name is all caps on your tombstone, meaning that this product no longer exists. But when you get into the depths of it, you'll come to the realization that we have always been operating like that. For as long as we can remember, that operation has been there. Why? They're not going to let you go back to the original operation. A lot of women can't even think about a time that they didn't have, the hygiene products that they have right now. You can't even go back into a time where you gave the blood back to the earth on your cycles. Y'all don't even know what that time, you don't even know what. Maybe y'all need to read a book called The Red Tent. Maybe y'all need to read a book called The Red Tent, going back to Rachel. And because I can't imagine, when we say oh, what happened to the Red Sea? Well, what happened to the Red Sea. You know what happened to the Red Sea. They say if women start eating vegetations and stuff like that, fruits and stuff like that, they say your whole menstrual cycle change up. You know what I mean? It tells you what happened to the Red Sea right there. There's no Red Sea anymore because ain't nobody bleeding back into the earth. Y'all ain't bleeding back into the earth. Think about that. The Red Sea, Gaia don't even know how many people is down here. It's not we don't even go with the censorship anymore by grounding to let Gaia know who's down here and how many people is down here. She'll create more land if she knew how many people were down here. If she knew how many children she had down here, she'll create more land. More land will rise up out the sea. If we needed it. If we needed more land to rise up out the sea. All it takes is people to start grounding again. Where you think they get their censorship system from? Where you think they get the whole idea of knocking on people's door to find out how many people is in this area or that area? That came from somewhere. That as above was Gaia knowing how many people were down here. You know what I mean? The as above concept of all of this is still there. We just got caught up in this as below concept of it, right? We see the as below because the as below is where they place all the fear at, right? They place the fear of the things that are as above. So when you look at it, the as above would be the Ethernet that connects us all together. The as below will be the internet that they created. The as above will be the 5D dimension that they're talking about. The as below will be the 5G that they created with the internet. You see where they can place the fear at? The fear can't be in the Ethernet, but they can put the fear in the internet. The fear can't be in the 5th dimension. The fear can be in this 5G network that they're placing, right? So that's how this works. As above, so below. They created a system down here that was already created with intelligence, right? So the system that is above is natural intelligence, our brain. Our mainframe is the brain, right? The artificial intelligence comes with the as below when they create the fear and place the fear on it, artificial intelligence, right? The same thing, as without, so within, right? The same thing that they use with that method. You'll be more focused on the as without, and you'll forget that the same thing exists within, right? We're so caught up with the universe outside of us, we forget that there's a universe inside of us, right? So this method works for them both ways because you'll pay attention to one and not the other. We're paying attention to the lower fears that are in this world, that we're forgetting about the higher realms of us, right? Think about it. Why is it they can tell you about the conjuring of a demon? Why is it they can tell you about a demon taking over your body, but they never can tell you about angels taking over your body? Because duality has to exist within that too, right? So if demons can take over your body, then angels can take over your body, right? But they'll never tell you about the angels that can take over your body. Why would they want you to know that for every demon, there's an angelic being that can counter it? Why would they want you to know that? They wouldn't want you to practice those things. They would want to keep you in sadness, depression, all of these low vibrational feelings and emotions. This is where the demonic entities can get you. This is how they can get you. When you're in sadness, depression, all of this stuff. Think about how many people that was on the verge of unaliving themselves, but then something else took over them and started controlling their vessel. And it was most likely a demonic entity, right? This is why I could say, I can point them out. I know who they are down here. You know, I know what vessels they're in. The Christian Rocks, the Jaguar Wrights, the Ali Carters, the Misha Fullers. I know, I see them. I see them just like they see me. The demonic entities that are taking over vessels down here, that is painting society out to be messed up with no dignity, no moral compass, going back into animal ways, right? Because it's Anu Mu, right? It's an Anu and then it's Mo, right? The Anu is the essence that is breathed inside of us. It goes back to Sumerian, right? And then the Mo is the mammal, the animal, the real mammal, so on and so forth, right? So these two things exist because we are more than what is meets the eye. But the reptilian part of the brain is trying to take over the vessels of mankind. So the reptilian part of the brain has you going back into carnal ways, eating with your hands, so on and so forth. All of this stuff, caveman-like behavior. You'll see more of that, right? You're not going to see that hierarchy of principles. Why? Because it don't exist in the reptilian part of the brain. The reptilian part of the brain is the fight or flight part of the brain. It's the part of the brain that tells you to, survive, you against everybody. You got to take care of yourself first, so on and so forth. When you get to the extensual part of the brain or the higher parts of the brain, then you'll start, running into a collective. And that collective is going to be, that collective is being affected by those reptilian personas too. But that collective is a more caring collective. You don't know that because you're stuck in the personal mind. When you're stuck in the personal mind, you're still looking at things like, oh, it's the government that's against us. Oh, white people. Oh, this piece, that. You're still looking at all the division. But when you get to the higher collective, you'll see that everybody is being taken advantage of by this, group of people that is monetizing and, basically capitalizing off of our traumas, our trials and tribulations, all of the stuff that we going through down here or think we're going through, right? All of the hardship that we think we're going through, somebody else is, capitalizing off of that, benefiting off of that. When you say how is that possible? It's simple. We're so divided amongst each other, we can't even realize that the manipulation is taking place because it's just taking place on different variations of levels. The level that you on, you can't see the manipulation taking place because you're stuck in it. You're stuck in the manipulation that's taking place. Right? So like when it comes down to it, like unity would be the way out. Us looking out for each other would be the way out, right? So they keep you divided so you can never realize the unity that is the way out. So they want to keep you in this fraction, that fraction. They put these people in the world that try to make you or continue to make you feel like you're separated. They place these people around to remind you of slavery and all of this other stuff. They come out with movies that remind you of what your people went through and what your ancestors went through. So the anger can always be there. They don't never want you to let up on that anger of the feelings and emotions, right? So that anger is always placed there. Remember this, remember that, a time to kill. Play this movie, play that movie. Keep this reminder in their face. Our ancestors did it to us. Our grandparents did it to us. You know, we watched this. It was repetitive. They always told us, you know, don't you be with this person. Don't you hang out with that person. Don't you do this. But then it's the ones that's close to us that do the most to us. The strangers actually be looking out. The strangers be the ones looking out. It be the family and friends that be doing us the worst, don't it? Be the family and friends that do us the worst. But we endure, don't we? We try to endure. But this is why I say, you know, however you look at it, you got to come into the realization of some things. You got to, you know, come into some realizations of some stuff and be like, you know what? I choose to be better than this, or I choose to be better than that. You know? But a lot of people are not choosing that. A lot of people are not choosing that. A lot of people ain't trying to choose knowledge. A lot of people will tell you that, you know, you broke or you this or you that, and they don't even know how rich you are in knowledge and wisdom. They don't even know how, you know, rich you are in, you know, because, you know, I'm rich. I'm just not rich in the things that y'all want me to be rich in down here. You know, I got, you know, so much knowledge in my head, and you can't take that away from me. I got so much wisdom in my mind. Like, you can't take none of that away from me. Like, the operation of the human operation will still be there. The functions of being a human will still be there. You know, work ethics, you know, so on and so forth. The ability to go out, that's a human pattern. Me getting up 5:30, 6 o'clock every morning, that's structure. You know, me, you know, doing my little workouts here and there to keep my body in shape, me not eating certain things, eating one meal a day, that's discipline over the flesh. That's discipline over the gut. A lot of people don't have discipline over their gut. When their stomach tells them that they remember eating at 10 o'clock, you know what I mean? When their stomach tells them, hey, I'm used to a meal at 5 o'clock, when that grumbling happens, you say, man, what time is it? And you go get something to eat. Not me. I tell my stomach, shut the hell up. Shut up. That's what I tell my stomach. I don't want to hear it. Shut up. We got some stuff to do. The food make you tired. As soon as you get done eating, what you want to do? Take a nap. 15 minutes after you get done a good meal, where you at? Somewhere dozing off. Eyes heavy as hell. It don't matter if you took a big lunch to work. Yeah, that second half of work, time seemed to be going slow as hell. You sitting there waiting for 3 o'clock or whatever. You like, man, shit, try not to eat so early next time. I'm telling you. Try not to eat so early next time. Trying to tell you. It's happening. It is happening. The world is upside down. Make sure y'all go follow Ralph DaWise on YouTube. Ralph DaWise on YouTube. Go over to there and follow. Make sure. Yeah, we gotta add some more songs to the list.
What's it gonna
You
be?
know, on songs.
I'm thinking we can serve your tea hot. We can make it ice cold. We can put it in a shot. Or we can make it real bold. Oh, oh. Beef on top of beef. Oh, yes. Yes, it's giving messy, real mess. We having black tea. So won't you come and take a sip? We serving black tea. But be careful not to slip. Black tea. Taste the drama real good. Do you want some black tea? In the YT neighborhood. Truth is moving on them streets. But it's caught between them lies. Who be grifting, who cheats? Who be sending round them spies? Beef on top of beef all day, every day. Troublemakers put on display. Do you want some black tea? Won't you come and take a sip?
I'm mesmerizing, you know. That's all I want to do. Is get a little bit of knowledge out of it. I want to get back into doing classes and stuff, and doing this. Getting a group together in the Discord, building a nice little collective around this knowledge and stuff. I just gotta focus a little bit more and start, putting it back out there and drawing back in the right people that want to learn about it, chakra systems. And then I think I'm gonna break down a class, like maybe Monday, do a class on just the root chakra, and the, intel depths that comes with it, and then do the sacral chakra might have to be 2 days on that, because then you gotta get into incubus and succubus and Lilith energy and so on and so forth. And but I'm gonna try to get an idea schedule with everything that's happening on the farm and everything that's taking place out here with the RV camp and everything like that. Like, I'm trying to focus on that and get back into putting this knowledge out there. Could use some help in everything, but people so busy right now living their best life, I guess. Vacation, and spring break, and school's almost out, and so on and so forth. So I'm waiting for the right people to come along. I know the right people is out there. I just got to be a fisher of men, become a fisher of mankind, and reach out and get the right people involved. Slowly but surely, we got the goats out here now. We got hella more plants out here. So I've really been like hella busy. We getting stuff in the ground, and we got a bunch of plants and stuff. Got a bunch of beds now. So now it's like crunch time around that. Once I get some more people out here, get some more helping hands out here, then it'll go a lot better. We are in the North Carolina area, so that's where it's starting at right now, North Carolina. But we're building towards, like, once we get this one off the ground, then, we might end up in Florida building another one, down in Florida, next location. But I think that's the main plan, is to try to build small, just all over the United States, just build small little homesteads, self-sustaining systems that can hold a certain amount of people, and so on and so forth. Start off small, and then more people get involved, and we build bigger and bigger and bigger. But right now, you got to start off at ground level. This is ground level, This is ground level. Getting the experience, getting the idea of how to structure it, so on and so forth, and then, putting it all together. But all of that takes time. And a lot of people don't got time. You got responsibilities, you got this, you got that. So that's where we come in. You gotta help us, let us help you. What they say, vice cashly, live through us type stuff, because it's gonna come a time where we all need this, I promise you. It's gonna come a time we all need this. Um, we did come a long way, especially on YouTube. I thought the fight was decent on TikTok, but on TikTok it was like, you know, getting like TikTok was easy. I got like 4 pages, 5 pages. I was, you know what I mean? TikTok was easy. But YouTube is like they'll see that you growing and they will attack you relentlessly, you know? Relentlessly. So that's why I say, like, it's two different operations right there. It was harder over on YouTube to get monetized, you know. It's slow motion though. It's slow motion. We'll get the right people, start getting new members over here on YouTube, and you know what I mean? Start locking in. Start locking in. We'll get some new members, get some people from TikTok to come over to YouTube and get some more support, get some more members, some more memberships, get some more people. I got to put some more videos out and some more shorts out there so that way we can capitalize on the ad revenue, get people to just watch the damn video over and over again with the commercials as soon as I figure all of that out. So, yeah, it's happening. It's happening. We in there. Now we just got to build the panel. Now we just got to build the panel over here. If we get a YouTube panel together, if we get a couple of people from TikTok, right? I want y'all to think about this. If we get a couple of people from the TikTok page to come over and co-host on the YouTube page, we in there. We in there. All we got to do is bring the topic and the panel's going to discuss it. You know what I mean? We might need a 6-person panel over here on YouTube. We'll just recruit some people from TikTok. That's all. Recruit some people from TikTok. And that's how we're going to build it. We got 2 TikTok pages we can go live from. And I'll put it out there on my 35K page that we're looking for people. And yeah, it's gonna work itself out. I'm looking at like 2 months anyway. So this month we could just grind it out real tough this month. We just gotta grind the hours out real tough, do hella topics, hella panels, and just we got to put the hours back in over here like we did before, and put the hours back in and start bringing some more people up on the panel, and rotate the conversation around and build the page. That's all. It ain't nothing to it. You know, in the and in the process, we're gonna build the Discord up too. So we can have the group in the Discord at all times ready to go. You know what I mean? Start taking the field trips again. We got to start doing that. You know, we gotta put it back together. Gotta put it back together like Voltron. You know, they gonna hate on us anyway. It don't really matter what we do, they're gonna hate on us anyway. We need more mods, you know. We gotta rebuild the TikTok page. You know, it's okay. Process. It's slow, but it's gonna get there though. It's gonna get there. You know, once the finances start coming in and we start putting the finances back into the account, it's gonna get there. Then I'll be able to buy my own memberships. Once the ad revenue start, then I'll just be able to gift memberships. You know what I mean? So it's gonna get there. It's gonna start paying for itself. The fact that we have a YouTube monetized page is good. You know what I mean? We have a YouTube monetized page. That's good. Now we'll just bring the TikTok drama over to YouTube and expand upon that even more. So I'll bring the TikTok drama and the beef that's going on TikTok, you know, I'll bring those conversations over to YouTube. So I'll start doing more clips of the stuff that's going on. Like, you know, it's a lot of drama that be going on with these streamers on TikTok now, you know, with the battling, with the constant you know, grifting with the so we just gotta, you know, get into that and start pointing that out a little bit tougher, you know, all of that that's going on. And the page gonna grow like hell. The page gonna grow. Ain't nobody really adding insight to a lot of this stuff that I be pointing out. You know, I be pointing out a lot of stuff, but I gotta get the right people around me too. I gotta get the right panelists, if you would say, you know what I mean? So that way everybody's on the same respect level. You know, I ain't trying to go into that. I already see what's happening or what did happen. So we gotta learn from those mistakes. We can't, you know, we gotta learn from those mistakes. We can't go into those mistakes again, you know. But as long as we stay out of those, we good. We good to go. We stay out of those. Then we just get the right people around us. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with the right people. If we build it, they will come. But we gotta build it. You know? We build the right table for it. And sometimes you just gotta put the time in. Sometimes you just gotta put the time in. So we might have to just sit here for hours. We might have to just sit for hours. What's going on with you? We might have to just sit for hours again and just rebuild. You know? Just sit for some hours and rebuild it all. You know? and just go live. You remember how we had to do it before YouTube? We had to go live on this TikTok page, then go live on that TikTok page and see how many people we can get from this TikTok page, then see how many people we can get from the other TikTok page, then see how many people we can get from the other TikTok page, right? So we might have to do that again, you know? But we got to get we got to get those new members, you know, we got to get a new group of people, you know. It would seem, you know, or we just got to run into those rich people. Yeah, we run into those rich people. Get a couple of rich people on our team. Yeah, get like 3 or 4 rich people on our team. We in there. Because rich people don't, they play with people. We worried about money and shit like that down here, but they not worried about money. They worried about people. So they'll be more inclined to throw their money at something faster than somebody who living paycheck to paycheck, you know. A lot of us is paycheck to paycheck. We struggling. We struggling artists. Them rich people, you done seen their manipulation. They'll throw you some funds just to try to manipulate you. They'll be like, oh yeah, you need this? Oh look, I happen to have $5,000 sitting around doing nothing. For real. Rich people got money in the couch, just sitting there, stacking up. Got money sitting around. They just like, oh, that's been sitting there for months. It'd be $10,000 sitting somewhere. They'd be like, I forgot I even had that. Don't they? We be looking like, oh, you forgot you had $5,000 sitting over here. Okay, but really, I forgot I put that there so long ago. You're like, damn, man, you know what I can do with that? But they'll never help you because they're a lot of them is stuck on the greed, the control that they get with their money. You know what I mean? They're not gonna look at you and be like, oh, that's something I would invest in. No, that's not a vacation. They invested in vacations, trips, so on and so forth, things that they gonna get enjoyment out of. They're not gonna look at what you're doing and be like, oh, that's something I'll invest in. You might find one or two couple that's interested in you, but once again, you gotta be out there, you gotta be out there. Gotta be out there. Gotta be out there. And then you gotta be smart about it. Yeah, you gotta find like that family member, that rich family member. I don't have no rich family member to call on. I'm looking for somebody else to call on their rich family member. Everybody got that one. Everybody like, oh, I got a family member. Oh, family member. Family member is gonna help me. Yeah, I know. The right people's gonna come along. I know. I know, I know, I know. I've been waiting for the right people to come along for so long now. I'm like, damn, just hurry up already, you know? I've been waiting for the right people to come along for a long time now. Just go ahead and pop out. Right person, where you at? Where you at, right person? I know you're around somewhere. Come on out. Right person. Right person, right person, where you at? Been waiting for you for so long. Nah, it'll happen. Might not be, you know, at some point in time. Eventually. I know, right? Nah, they helping themselves. A lot of them helping themselves. They structured the world like that, though. You know? They structured the world like that. The world is messed up as we know it. Upside down world. You wanted to move since your 20s, still stuck? Damn. Damn. Do, 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 do. Mm. Oh no, we ain't saying that it's not opportunity here. We ain't saying that. We know. We know for a fact that there's opportunity here. Just just picking and choosing who they get that opportunity to. You know, just picking and choosing who gets that opportunity. That's the thing. You know, who gets it, who don't. Who? No, I get it. Everybody's rich. We're all rich. We're all rich. We're all rich. Concrete jungle. Well, any some way, some form, knowledge got to be put back into this world. What's going on? Hard to see the whole picture. Yeah, got the boxes on the side. There you go. Is that better? Is that better? Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, they're gonna start paying eventually. And knowledge gonna start cashing out. They're gonna start cashing out for knowledge soon. And I'm gonna be right there. Collecting check after check after check after check. Be right there with the knowledge. Like right now, they don't want to pay for it. Right now, they just want me to put it out for free. But eventually, they're gonna start paying for this knowledge. Yep. They start paying for it. You'll still be right there with it. Like, hey, y'all paying for knowledge now? Yes. Couldn't wait. Couldn't wait for y'all to start paying for knowledge. Yep. They're gonna start paying for knowledge. What y'all gonna do then? Hmm. Mm-mm-mm. Knowledge in this world. I'm chasing wisdom. And in order for one to chase wisdom, one has to be knowledgeable, you know? Well, we learning though. We learning. And we moving forward. You know, we moving forward. Hey, appreciate the membership. Oh, somebody got to thank that person for the membership. Whoever ended up getting it. See, we gotta be present. To be present is to be alive. We gotta find that music that we can play. Gotta find that music. Mm-hmm. The birds chirping outside. Yeah, it's a great day out there. We gotta go out there. We was already out there earlier. We watered everything. Watered all the plants and stuff that's out there. We got so much more plants and stuff out there. It's crazy. So much more stuff out there. It's crazy. I just gotta get the people out here that's gonna help. Get the right people out here that's gonna help, you know. Mm-mm. Rice Krispie treat cheesecake. Hmm. Oh, there's all types of plants out there: watermelon, squash, peppers, onions. Um, man, we got all types of stuff out there now. It's crazy. All kinds of stuff. Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna go live again. Yep. That damn Reggie. We're gonna put some more roosters in there and see how Reggie do with the new roosters. Put some roosters in there and see how Reggie do. All right, we're gonna end this. We're gonna go back live again later.